Hello and welcome to the debate. I'm Farrukh Pitafi. Viewers, Sana Maqbool hosts this program regularly, but she is on leave today. So today, once again, I'm going to host the program. And we are going to talk about the political situation in the country because right now, after the election, the parlays are going on. And the word has it, at least the private media actually keeps on reporting that People's Party and PMLN have actually finally in principle agreed on some kind of power sharing formula. And what that power sharing formula might be is quite interesting. That they are going to have rotational premiership, that PMLN is going to have 3 years of rule, their prime minister, and then People's Party, the party with lesser number of MPs, is going to have a 2-year spell. What exactly is the nature of cabinet under that? We still have to wait and see. MQM's delegation, MQM by the way is the third largest party, at least when you talk about registered parties. Otherwise, if you include the independents, then of course that position comes to fourth. But MQM is in Lahore. Their delegation is meeting with PMLN tomorrow and after tomorrow. So the word has it that there is some kind of PDM2 in the making. On the other side, when you talk about the independent candidates, one aspect of a major party running as independents is that many of the actual independents were counted among them as well. And now we have seen that many of them have declared their support for other political parties. Of course, there is one particular case where somebody, one from PTI, supported group, and then they have also joined in Lahore. PMLN, they have joined. So we are going to talk about this as well. Then we keep on hearing what exactly might be the case of independent, particularly PTI. We keep on hearing that they are going to perhaps join another party, a smaller party, and with that they can actually get the reserved seats and then they can move on. Now the problem is when it comes to like-minded political parties, there are only two that one can talk about. One is MWM, the Shia-leaning political party, and the other one is PMLZ, headed by the former dictator's son. So what exactly are they going to do? We still have to wait and see. If that doesn't happen, they are nowhere in the position to form government. We are going to talk about these matters and more in order to help us understand. In the studio, like always, we have Raja Faisal joining us as an analyst. For a second, I was going to call you Raja Niaz, but I didn't.
Thank you for that.
No. I pulled back very quickly. And we are going to be joined by Dr. Niaz Murtaza on Skype. The moment he joins us, I'm going to. Oh, he has joined us.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saab, for being part of the program. Now, with your permission, Raja Faisal, we are going to start with Dr. Niaz Murtaza.
By all means.
Dr. Niaz, pray tell me, what exactly is the lay of the land right now before you? And what do you think is going to be the shape of things to come?
Well, I think the situation remains very unclear. Unfortunately, the fresh start that we were expecting or hoping, the impetus from a fresh election, the strong mandate, those hopes have been dashed. If an election is to help a country rejuvenate itself and provide a fresh impetus, first of all, the elections should be free. The parties competing should, present strong ideas, and then one of them should get a strong mandate. Unfortunately, none of the three things have happened. There were so many questions about level playing field, which have now extended to even, the election day. Election manifestos were very weak, almost every party, the larger ones especially. And now we have a situation where no party, including even the PTI's independents, have a clear, even a simple majority. So we are now back to, the drawing board, what, permutation and combination can give, something close to, a strong mandate. So you have this very strange situation where the largest group PTI neither is it making any efforts to reach out to other parties as has been its stand always, nor is any other party trying to approach the PTI. The normal thing would be, okay, if this party is the biggest, then it would be the easiest for it to form a stable government by bringing in one or two other parties. But
Right.
that's not happening. So if you take out the biggest group, is there any hope of having political stability? And that is the big question. If you have to bring in five, six, seven parties with very different ideas and priorities, what kind of a government you're going to have? So that's the big challenge right now.
All right, absolutely. Let me also go to Raja Faisal. Raja Faisal, help me understand, this situation on both sides, right? Game it for us. What exactly is the possibility of PMLN, People's Party, MQM sitting together, and what kind of government do you see then appearing? And then, of course, you do talk about the other camp as well, that is PTI.
Farrukh, obviously, when we talk about these three parties, one from Karachi, one from interior Sindh, and one from, of course, Lahore and Punjab, PMLN, People's Party, and MQM, if they join hand, of course, they will be in a position to form a government, as you have been predicting since the very first day that it can go to, it can lead towards the PDM2, which is obviously we are seeing that this might be the first choice, and this sort of they are in a position.
I
to
haven't
obviously
been
form.
predicting it. I just mentioned that coming from Mian Nawaz Sharif's speech,
Yeah.
this is what looked like to be the case. And by the way, I think I was the first one who started calling it PDM2.
PDM2. That is why I actually given credit to you for that.
Okay, I thought you are accusing me
No,
of creating some ideas.
I was just giving you credit for this term, which you actually introduced the very first day when elections were taking place. This is the situation. They are in a position to form the government. We just need to wait and see what kind of obviously modalities they are going to arrange in between them. So far we know that 3 and 2 years of span of time, which we are seeing that obviously Shahbaz Sharif for the 3 years, and then for the next 2 years we might see Bilawal Bhutto being Prime Minister of this country. And this is what we are seeing so far. But at the same time, the other
Mariam
side,
Nawaz as the CM of Punjab.
as the CM of Punjab, this is what we are actually looking at. But if we obviously look towards the other side, of course you have mentioned MWM, which is a situation in which of course the PTI itself would be looking at that. Of course MWM is considered as having connections somewhere else. That might be a problem for PTI itself.
On the day, on the anniversary of revolution, I dare you to say
Exactly.
what kind of leaning are you talking about?
Exactly. And obviously, I am obviously thinking about that if PTI goes towards this aspect, then they might be seeing a sort of diplomatic rift from somewhere, Middle East. That is the case. And the other parties, I wanted to mention PML Z. There is a problem, that is that their seat is contested by one of the independents. That matter is obviously sub judice as well. The seat they are claiming, the other person who was actually winning on that seat, it is claimed that he has Form 45s as well. He is independent, backed by PTI itself. Whether they would be going towards that or not, time will tell. But there are two more options I want to highlight, Farrukh. One is of course TLP. TLP's Supremo. Earlier I was going through one of the video clips in which he himself, the seat he was given, he actually backed off from the seat. The seat he was being declared as a winner, he himself said that I am not the winner, the independent candidate there was the winner, and I have the Form 45s. And he actually stepped back and he said that I request the authorities to give this seat to the genuine winner, and that genuine winner obviously is PTI's winner. So That is a possibility there.
No, no, but hang on, if he actually withdraws and somebody else actually is declared winner, then you don't have that party in the parliament.
In the parliament, and that is what the matter is.
Then you cannot merge with the party, can you?
Not merge the party, but there is another party, Jamaat-e-Islami. Jamaat-e-Islami's, of course, leader from Karachi, Naimur Rahman, Hafiz Naimur Rahman, he was obviously declared a winner in one of the seats, and he himself did a press conference today in which he said that I'm not the winner, independent candidate is the winner, and he did the same thing. And Jamaat-e-Islami, they have seats, and they are in the parliament. So it is being speculated that that option is there. For
amazingly, remember that before 2 days before the election, I actually drew your attention to a tweet by somebody, perhaps a supporter of PTI, who said that in coming days, or Jamaat-e-Islami supporter, I'm sorry, that the Karachi's Nazim is going to become the leader of Jamaat-e-Islami, and under his leadership, the party PTI is going to contest or perhaps be in the parliament, and then they are going to form the government. Do you think that this prediction might be full of foresight or something?
Maybe, Farrukh. Obviously, you know, there are so many predictions which you did almost 12 years ago, and people are still talking about them.
So you're being too
on Twitter,
exceptionally generous.
You know,
forget about that. I was talking about something else. Let me go back to Dr. Niaz Murtaza. Dr. Saab, we are gaming the situation right now, and just want to understand what is happening to the PTI supported independent candidates. Now, you must have a better understanding of law than I do. Do tell me, if PTI supporters don't merge with any party and declare themselves a new party within the parliament, do they get or don't they get reserved seats, sir?
Well, they can't suddenly form a new party. It has to be, a party registered with the Election Commission of Pakistan. I think the first thing that they should try is to, say that even if our symbol was taken away, and that was also very unfair, we were not deregistered as a party, and we should still be treated as, PTI candidates. That should be their first try. They went to the Election Commission of Pakistan, Salman Akram Raja, and ECP did not accept that argument, but they should go to courts then, because I haven't seen a single law which says that, if a party loses its symbol, it's deregistered, and its candidates will be treated as independent. So that's one option, and then if that doesn't work, they can think about, trying to, latch on to another party. I don't know if Jamaat-e-Islami would be willing to do that. It's a fairly insular party with its own very strong culture. And I don't know whether they'd want, 100 new people barging in with a very different outlook. MWM.
Correct me if I'm wrong. 2013 KPK government, when it was formed, of course, KPK government was formed by both PTI and Jamaat-e-Islami together.
Right, but allow me to, Dr. Niaz Murtaza, we are joined by another guest.
Secret identities, right? It was, JI got taken over by PTI.
But in any case, Dr. Saab, JI presents a better case than MWM at any rate.
And TLP too.
And TLP, of course, as well. But let me also bring in Hafiz, Ahsaan, Ahmad Khokhar, who is a known lawyer, was supposed to be in the studio but couldn't make it. Hafiz, thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program on telephone. Help me understand one thing. Because always you're not only an accomplished lawyer, but you're a competent one too. So you always quote law whenever you're part of this transmission. Let me ask you regarding the possibility of PTI supported independents actually forming a new party within the parliament. Why is it that they are deprived of that chance? And if they can't actually get reserved seats after that, is it not something that future lawmakers should address?
Bismillahir Rahman Rahim. Pitafi Saab, thank you so much, and thank you so much for expressing your comments about me, about my profession. First of all, two things are very important. One is that if you elect as an independent candidate, as per the existing law and the constitution, you have to declare yourself within 3 days from the date of the notification issued by the Election Commission of Pakistan according to Form 49 of the Election Rules 2017. And if you don't choose any political party within inside the assembly, then you lose the rights to make a permanent member of that political party. And until and unless the term will go on of the National Assembly or the Provincial Assembly, your status will be always be treated as an independent return candidate. So in that particular situation, now we have an extraordinary situation in Pakistan, not in Pakistan, but every parliamentary form of government, that a big chunk of independent candidates, they have been returned candidates under an umbrella of the independent, so they have been supported and backed by a political party, but according to law and the constitution, they are independent. So if they are independent and did not and will not join any political party within 3 days from the date of the notification, then there will be no embargo upon them under Article 63A of the Constitution. They would be independent for every, the process of the assembly proceedings. Either it is a vote of no confidence, it is a vote of confidence, it is the time of the constitutional amendment, or it is the time of the money bill. And even they are free to join at the time of the legislation. So importantly, for the discipline purpose, which the law has been drafted under the Constitution, Article 63A, to control the horse trading within the Parliament, it is important that every member who is in the Parliament must have some affiliation with a political party, and if he does not, then the law will not apply to them. And if it continues with reference to the PTI situation, you will say, see, with the passage of time, all the independent members, they will be in with the time, they will be join a political party, or they will detach themselves from the independent group. So for that purpose, it is very important. On the other side, what the law says that how much and how many times that if the political party is not the member of a political within the assembly, so can an independent join? Not at all. You have to join a political party who has a one seat even and elected under an electing symbol. You can join a political party. Now you're talking about the Jamaat-e-Islami in particular situation of the Jamaat in the National Assembly. So there is no seat at the moment by the Jamaat-e-Islami in the National Assembly. First, now they have 2 or 3 options. One option might be they would avail to the Mutahaddar Wahdatul Muslimin, and the second, they may have the option to go to the Muslim League Ziaul Haq led by the Ijazul Haq. So with the passage of time, if they are not realizing or if they are not going on rapidly to address this legal and political questions, if the vacuum or the prospect, the future prospect of their regarding the reserve seat for the minorities and for the women, they will be decreased, because if they do not elect any political party, they will be out of question.
Khokhar Sahib, that is a good point, but let me also once again ask you, if, for example, you spoke about an extraordinary situation. Naturally, lawmakers hardly ever see such situations happening, and once it has happened, then they are going to address it. But if, hypothetically, even if it is not PTI, if there is an independent group that wants to form a government within the, form a party within the parliament once they have been elected, is it not depriving them of their agency if they are not allowed to actually do it? So shouldn't the future lawmakers address this issue as well? Because this situation can always happen to any political party. It could have happened to PMLN, People's Party, PTI is already there, MKM, whatever. So tomorrow if this happens again, there should be a law to address that as well.
Pitafi, on one side, if there is no restriction on the independent members to constitute or to make a government if they have the majority in the parliament or in the provincial assembly, there is no restriction on it.
No,
but simultaneously, it is
within the parliament.
Simultaneously, now simultaneously, the law also embarks upon a restriction on a independent members. They can't make a party within the assembly if they elected on a independent side. So until you have to amend the law, first they amend the constitution and then to amend the election act, then there might be a possibility that they can form a political government inside, because it is more important that before making a political party, you have to enlistment with the Election Commission of Pakistan, and there is a certain processing, and you have to complete the process, and it might take 2 months or 3 months. So it would be a very difficult that you elect as an independent candidate, and after 5-7 days you make the political party and then get in, because another important thing is making a political party is not the solution of this one. The solution of this one, that a political party who has the election symbol under the Election Act, they have to make a party within the parliament, and on the other side it is not the. So hypothetically, might be the lawmakers will think on it, but because it is the extraordinary sin, I don't think so that there is a legal proposition in future in the legislative line that all the members who are independent, they can form a political party after the election.
Absolutely. Hafiz Saab, Raja Faisal has a question for you.
Hafiz Saab, obviously we are looking at a situation in which, of course, if they are not getting into the parliament as a party or not joining a party, then that would mean that this time around in this parliament we would see lesser number of reserve seats getting secured. And wouldn't it be a kind of situation in which, of course, reserve seats for women and reserve seats for minorities, there would be a lesser number representing the people of Pakistan? Wouldn't it be a situation like this?
Might be there is a problem because this is the first time. But the Constitution says there is a proportional representation inside the National Assembly or the Provincial Assembly. If we talk about the National Assembly, we need to have 4.35 members for against each reserve seat for a woman, and then because it is divided as well against within the province, because the Punjab has 32 seats. The KPK has 10 seats, the Sindh has 14 seats, and the Balochistan has the 4 seats. So in that situation, this is the first time, if such situation arises, that because of independent members, they are not joining a political party, what would be the situation? So might be another situation that the Election Commission of Pakistan says that as a political party, these are the exist over there, and no other one has joined the political party, so they can divide the seats according to the share of the members of a political party in National Assembly or the Provincial Assembly. So it is a big question mark in future how the Election Commission of Pakistan would treat them if a majority of the members of the parliament, they will not join any political party, and what would be the legal outcome of that. And I think in that particular situation, in my mind, would be that the Election Commission of Pakistan would allow the other political parties to enhance their list and go to the appropriation.
Absolutely.
But in this,
Hafiz Saab, this is an important point, but please do stay with us. We are going to come back to you, sir, but I'm just told that there is breaking news. Various results were contested in Lahore High Court, and there Justice Bakr Najfi had actually reserved a judgment that was pertaining to those cases or those challenges. So that verdict has been announced, and all the petitioners have been asked to contact Election Commission. So it is no longer a case that is in dispute right now. While I wanted to go to Dr. Niaz Murtaza, I'm told that Hafiz Saab, you can comment on this first.
Hafiz Saab, this is the routine order of the Lahore High Court. Always there is an issue about the maintainability of these petitions when the process is going on and there is a remedy already available under the Election Act. So where there is an alternate remedy available within the statute, the High Court is not exercising their jurisdiction. So the High Court has restrained instruction, asked the Election Commission of Pakistan, asked these petitioners to approach the Election Commission of Pakistan. Now another question would be that Election Commission of Pakistan has asked to the High Courts for giving their name for the election tribunal, and if these High Courts will nominate their judges for the election tribunal, then automatically the Election Commission of Pakistan would not exercise their jurisdiction, and ultimately all these petitions would land into the election tribunals under Section 138 under Section 38 of the Election Act 2017. So this would be an exercise maybe by the petition, but ultimately all these issues would be settled and resolved by the election tribunal under the Election Act 2017.
Is there a cut-off date when it comes to these verdicts, this whole proceeding in the tribunal, so to speak?
Yes, there is now the first time they asked that they should be decided within a year. But the law says there is a period, but you have seen that even the case of the Qasim Suri, that was even decided, the assembly has expired his term. So the law says there is a period, but because the person who has a winning candidate, he always keep trying to linger on the proceedings, and sometimes that time there are certain procedures and formulas in that particular session. The time is wasted,
Absolutely.
and in a very rare situation, the election petitions are decided within the prescribed period of law.
Let us hope that that happens. Allow me to actually go back to Dr. Niaz Murtaza. Dr. Niaz Murtaza, I had actually brought this question to you. If the parliamentary independents don't have the capacity to form their own group, and then it is actually registered with the Election Commission, do you think that coming lawmakers should at least focus on addressing this lacuna? Because this seems to deprive the independent candidates the agency to form their own political party within the parliament.
Yes, certainly, the last 2-3 years have, unearthed so many lacunas and issues with our constitution, loopholes, lack of clarity. So, that should be a big job for, the parliament to go through the constitution with a fine comb and, find out all these lacunas and try to fix them. This whole issue of, whether Election Commission of Pakistan has the authority to, review the election validity of party elections. Then this issue of whether, they would have to run as independents, what happens to the independents later on. Nobody really has a very clear idea, and ultimately, courts just exercise their discretion, and some of those decisions, look very odd. So definitely, but I think, even now the best option for the PTI would be to try and, argue in front of courts that, their candidates should be treated as official PTI candidates subject to their loyalty clause, rather than, looking for, refuge in other parties or continuing to, extend as independence. And then the other thing is that, PTI has now uploaded the form 45 for nearly 35 seats, which they claim shows that their candidate has won, whereas the Election Commission of Pakistan has, announced somebody else as the winner. So there's a urgent need to, go through all those Form 45s for the media, for civil society groups, and then ultimately, of course, the tribunals to, figure out whether those claims are true or not. Because if those claims are true, then PTI will have, a further 35 to 40 seats, which means that the independents will have a simple majority, and then this will become even more complicated, because then if the independents can't form a government, and then the other parties can't form a government because they don't have a majority.
Other parties might still be able to form a government because they are going to get reserved seats as well. And when you actually put together People's Party, PML and MQM together, and then smaller parties as well, that becomes a significant number. Your take on both these developments and these issues, Raja Faisal?
Yeah, but this is what I was obviously thinking about, that the cases still are pending in terms of Form 45, because if we talk about the Form 47, it is based on the Form 45s, and if them seats are contested and their decisions are coming one by one, especially if I talk about my own constituency, the Form 47 was issued obviously to somebody else before, and then within
you're talking about 47, that is the final tally of a constituency.
Exactly, and tentatively alternatively, it was issued to somebody else, which was reversed later on by the district returning officer. And then on the basis of Form 45s, because they had the majority of the Form 45s, and the PTI-backed candidate, independent candidate I'm talking about, he was not the only one who actually went to, he had the support of TLP's candidate as well, because TLP's candidate had the same Form 45s, and there was another independent.
The same Form 45s. So both were claiming victory.
No, not claiming the victory, but they were actually claiming the result which was being claimed by the independent candidate.
So they qualified them.
They qualified them. They went there as an witness. So when they became the witness, then obviously they went through all of the they tallied all of the Form 45s.
So you're
on the basis of that.
Then you are actually giving us a good example where the local system worked.
Yeah.
And the DRO actually delivered, right?
He delivered.
So essentially, if this matter, now remember that there was what, 17, 18 petitioners who had gone to actually Lahore High Court. Now that they have been asked to contact Election Commission, and Election Commission has its own tribunals, of course, the same judges from Lahore High Court, but they are going to be the head of the tribunals, and they are going to listen to these cases, so that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Are you supporting the notion?
Yes, I am sort of supporting, but obviously the system should be rapid enough so that the kind of uncertainty which we are seeing right now in our political atmosphere, that need to be, of course, washed away.
Have you heard that old adage, justice hurried is justice buried?
Justice hurried is justice buried, but of course in extraordinary situations and circumstances where too many precedents are present around us, then them precedents should be utilized.
Yeah, but is it not what amounts to argument shopping, like forum shopping, that when it comes to my case, do it quickly. If it is your case,
but I believe
then it can linger on for ages.
I believe, Farrukh, the decisions that are going to affect the masses at large, them decisions should be made very quickly. Earlier, an example was obviously given about Suri Saab. That case was lingered on for nearly 5 years, and if that case was lingered on, then of course it is not only disservice and dishonesty to the person who was the petitioner, but of course to the people of that constituency as well, because it is it is not merely one person, it is about the people of the constituency.
That is known to happen, by the way. But allow me to actually go back to Hafiz Saab. Hafiz Saab, now let us talk about policy and lawmaking in the next parliament. We know that whosoever is actually going to win or form the government in this parliament, they are only going to have only nominal numbers to actually form a government. If that is the case, then lawmaking becomes a big question, right? Especially amending the constitution. So we will keep on having these cyclical movements where one side is not agreeing and then things actually go awry. And the second aspect is that now the Senate elections are also due, and then the country is waiting for the election of a new president also. Help us understand how all of this transpires in coming days. Hafiz Saab, are you with us? Okay, let me redirect this question to Dr. Niaz Murtaza. Dr. Niaz Murtaza, you have heard the question. If you will ask me, I can repeat myself as well. But two aspects. One, policy stability, law-making possibilities, especially amending the constitution. And three, Senate and presidential elections. Your comments?
Yes, again, all those complications will come in, especially with Senate and presidential elections, how those votes will get counted with the independents and so on. So, I mean, I agree with Faisal that, these matters should be decided very quickly. And I know election tribunals sometimes take years. But, this is not a very complicated issue. There are cases where you need physical evidence, and there it can take a long time. But this is just a matter of, retotaling Form 45s and seeing whether, the total given in Form 47 is correct or not. This should get resolved in, a couple of days. If it relates to say even 40, 50 seats, it shouldn't take very long to, go through them quickly, total them and give a final answer. Even before, the parliament is called in, all these matters should be settled very quickly. So Election Commission of Pakistan should devote the resources to do that before, the
Very true.
parliament gets called. And if they do, then the situation will be much clearer. But you will still have, a very hung, divided parliament, and with so much polarization with PTI versus the others, how it is going to function, and how they can get together to deal with all the massive problems that Pakistan faces, with the need to really amend the constitution in many ways. That is what I said at the beginning, that the hope that we had that we'll have a smooth functioning government after the election, that looks more and more distant. Whoever forms the government, whatever.
And the country is stabilized. And the country is stabilized. Dr. Niaz, a very important question at this hour. Of course, we know that right after the elections, it is a practice that the President of Pakistan is supposed to, of course, invite the leading party to form a government. Here, who do you see that he would be inviting? The leading political party?
No, that doesn't happen.
Please, Dr.
Yeah, Dr. Saab, if you can clear me on this.
Yeah, the president does not have any role in inviting anybody. I think that was sometimes ago, but after
before 18th Amendment,
that was amended, and now there are elections that take place, and anybody can run for that, and whoever gets more seats wins. So I know PTI has been saying that, even their president was saying that President Alvi should invite us, but that is not true. What will happen is, that there'll be elections. First of all, there'll be elections for the speaker, the deputy speaker, and then immediately after that, there'll have to be elections for the prime minister. So that's how it's going to, proceed from here onwards.
Right. Let me actually ask a question. Raja Faisal, remember that day when you were telling me that, and by the way, Dr. Saab was also there as a witness on air. And you told me that Pakistani, voters are not educated, and because of that, they are going to be extremely confused on the day, election day, when they are not going to find the bad symbol, and that's why that decision is going to dent popularity of one party. But do you wish to actually revise that opinion?
I do, and I regret my comments that day. And Farrukh bhai, let me extend another comment, and that is that the very day you actually corrected me that the people of Pakistan, they are politically, of course, very well aware, and you stand right about it. Even from the rural areas, the kind of results we are getting, I mean, it shows that the people of Pakistan at large, they are politically, obviously,
they could find their candidate, right?
Exactly.
Without a symbol as
astonishing, and I think I extend my apologies to all of the people who felt that
never call my fellow countrymen ignorant.
They are not at all, and of course the political will and the political sort of intentions they have shown, it is amazing.
Right. Dr. Saab, once again, let us now talk about policy and particularly economics. Pakistan is going to go for the third tranche of the SBA, the current SBA, and after that it is said that the country is going to negotiate for another package as well. What do you think is going to happen in coming days regarding that? And we keep on hearing that perhaps if PDM2 forms government, Ishaq Dar is perhaps going to be the chairman Senate, and there is going to be some other finance minister. Some have even gone to the extent of naming the incumbent finance minister as the then finance advisor. So do you think that there is some smooth sailing in coming days?
Yeah, I think a big thing that IMF would be looking for, first of all, is that there will be a stable government. So they will have to demonstrate that. Quickly, form a coalition and show that, there'll be a cohesive government which will be able to implement all the stringent conditions that IMF will be imposing. And then secondly, they'll look at, the person who's going to be appointed as finance minister. Obviously, they had a lot of issues with, Ishaq Dar, and, things were, just on the loose for several months under him. And then the way he handled, the currency exchange rate and so on. So I think it's very important that, if PDM2 does form the government, that they do have, somebody strong. And obviously, Miftah Ismail has, quit PMLN, so they don't have that option. So it's quite possible that, they may have to go for, like a technocratic finance minister, the way Hafiz Sheikh came for PTI, and, even before that. So it's quite possible that, they may have to look around, and, Shamshad, of course, will provide continuity, because, she's been running things. But then, of course, she'll have to be elected as a senator or whatever. Or it will have to be somebody else, another technocrat like, Hafiz Sheikh or Raza Bakr, who can give some comfort to,
Could be
IMF.
Senator Pasha.
Who?
Senator Pasha. Hafiz Pasha's wife, right?
Hafiz
was
Pasha,
also-
I think he has, serious health issues, and he had declined even earlier. So it may be, somebody else.
Dr. Aisha was Pasha.
Aisha Ghaus Pasha, well, yeah, it's possible. She was Minister of Finance, State Minister of Finance.
Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, she doesn't have, that international experience and links with the IMF. So we'll have to see about that, who they select. But, obviously, Mr. Dar would, bring in a lot of negative baggage from his previous, tenure, the last one
So
especially.
everybody keeps saying that. I don't know why.
Because for
every expert keeps on saying
Farrukh,
that.
I think I still remember you.
No,
rightly
don't
pointed-
put it on me. Come on. But if they are going to form government, do you want me to actually be on the receiving end? Okay, but Raja Faisal, when it comes to other positions that are very important,
Yeah.
right? Presidency is very important, place, and you have to have a full-time president now elected. Similarly, Senate also, there seems to be a different Senate at this time, because provinces also have a say, and at least in one province you have, one party taking total control, right? So how do they shake out? And then do you have any guesses about the various ministries or presidency for that matter as well?
Yeah, if I look at presidency, what I see is that for the first 3 years, of course, Faryal Talpur Sahiba can be president, or maybe Zardari Sahib himself, he becomes president.
3 years.
For
President has a 5-year term. Unlike the Prime Minister, Prime Minister don't have any terms.
Exactly, but maybe they have some kind of obviously understanding about it as well, that for the later 2 years, maybe for the next phase we have Nawaz Sharif Saab as president when Bilawal
So
Bhutto is
what
Prime
happens to
Minister.
Maulana Fazlur Rahman?
Well, Maulana Saab couldn't do well in the elections.
That's why the presidency and not prime ministership.
Yeah, that is why. And the another thing is, if we talk about obviously different ministries, foreign ministry to me, I think for first 3 years, it is seemingly going towards Bilawal Bhutto Saab, because he himself will be obviously thinking about getting the foreign ministry, so that because before becoming prime minister, he would be eyeing upon this seat for next 3 years. And
Yeah, if he doesn't get it, that will be a loss for the cabinet. because-
Exactly, it will be. And obviously, if you look at certain other things, like interior minister, we had Rana Saab before, but Rana Saab won't be making to National
No,
Assembly
we
this time
keep
around.
on hearing that two individuals, Maryam Nawaz and of course Hamza Shahbaz, might actually go to the provincial,
Yeah.
accept their provincial seats. So here we keep on hearing the former, Minister for Railways, and Rana Sana might actually contest from those seats.
Yeah, from those seats, and yeah,
They can be made ministers.
One more thing, Farrukh, we shouldn't be forgetting that obviously Tarad Saab, he has actually won his seat. So after winning his seat, maybe because he put a good fight out there and he challenged Bilawal Bhutto, and after winning that seat, he might be one of the contestants. So
you want to make him minister while having Bilawal Bhutto Zardari also in the cabinet. So that's a fascinating scenario. Allow me to actually very quickly go to Dr. Saab. Dr. Saab, I'm told that we have to conclude the program, but let your words be the conclusion. I'm just going to tinker in the end. Please go ahead.
Well, it's quite possible that we might see, two parent-child pairs occupy the four most important positions in Pakistan. So, Nawaz Sharif as Prime Minister, Mariam as Chief Minister of Punjab, Zardari as President, and Bilawal as Foreign Minister. And then you can also throw in Mr. Dar as, Senate Chair. So we'll have an, all family affair. And I think they should try to avoid that and, bring in competence and new fresh faces. Even for the Prime Minister, I would strongly advise them to not go for either Sharif, but to appoint somebody competent, who can, bring energy, new ideas. Pakistan badly needs competent hands, not just family patriarchs, because the situation is just too bad economically, security-wise, and so on.
Right. Last time they actually brought in two individuals who were not from the family. Then, attrition rate is not that great. They're sitting outside the party. But I'm told that we have to conclude the program here, sir. You are entitled to your views, but of course, then politics is politics, and realpolitik is especially something that plays on its own terms. I'm told that we have to conclude the program here. Dr. Niaz Murtaza, thank you very much for your time. Raja Faisal, thank you very much for your time. Hafiz, Ahsaan, Khokhar joined us earlier for half of the program. Let me through this screen also thank you for being part of the program. This was today's program. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.